I've always felt a little lost in life, like I never received complete instructions on who I'm supposed to be. Everyone else around me seemed to know exactly who they were. Their lives would fly right by me. Their GPSs locked onto destinations while I just sat idling in the street. In high school, I never did any extracurricular activities because I couldn't figure out if I was a sports person or a music person. And it was no different in college. I wandered through 4 different majors, unable to decide who I wanted to be. I just felt like a blank slate. And if I was a blank slate, Micah York was the starry night. Authentic, beautiful, perfect. He was my exact antithesis, which is what attracted me to him in the first place. He was born knowing exactly who he was and what he was about. His confidence and certainty in himself was an all but tangible element of him. We first met in our freshman year of college. He was a neuroscience student and I was majoring in history. We dated our sophomore year after I changed my major to computer sciences. We broke up in our junior year just before I decided I wanted a degree in psychology instead, and he asked me a favor our senior year. Just after my guidance counselor told me it was too late to switch majors again. Our last semester of college was beginning soon, and Micah had been applying to grad schools. He wanted to get his master's in neurobiology, and I helped him with the applications when I had time. I knew Micah was under a lot of stress to nail his senior thesis, so I was surprised when he asked me over to his house for a party that January. I should have known something was up because Micah was a meticulous student and he didn't throw parties. Ever. When I arrived at his off-campus apartment, I considered not even getting out of the car. His flat was dark and quiet. There was definitely no party. Just what was he up to? I picked up my phone to call Micah and beg off, but curiosity suddenly got the better of me and I hung up. When I walked into the familiar TV-less living room, I saw 2 familiar faces and 2 strange ones. There was Micah, of course, and Micah's friend Sean Nichols, an organic chemistry major. The other 2 people were introduced to me as Irina Bradley, another med student, and Holly Bishop, a philosophy major. Irina, the med student, scooted over and made room for me on the couch. I sat down hesitantly and waited for Micah to begin whatever it is he was doing. He rose and walked to the middle of the room. "Thanks for coming, guys. I'm sure you're wondering why you're here because, clearly, this isn't a party. The truth is, I have something of vital importance to ask each of you." Micah paused, for effect I'm sure, took a deep breath and dropped his voice an octave. "I have selected each of you to take part in the greatest experiment of not only your lives, but perhaps even in human history. I am asking you to take part in my doctoral thesis." I rolled my eyes. Classic Micah. He may be many things, but humble wasn't one of them. Jackass appeared to be, though. "And what is your thesis?" I asked him nonchalantly, as if his previous statement hadn't been utterly stupid. "A conclusive essay detailing what happens after human death." Irina, the med student, laughed. Sadly, I knew Micah well enough to know he was being serious. "How do you intend to prove anything?" I asked. "What kind of experiments have you designed?" "Well, Bridget, I'm going to kill myself." The room fell quiet and Micah, mistaking the shocked horror for awed silence, stood a little taller and finally smiled. "You can't be serious." "Oh, I am, and it's completely reversible. I am going to be the first person in the world to prove or disprove the existence of an afterlife." "We?" demanded Sean. "Yes, we. This paper is going to be our ticket into any university in the world. Wars have been waged for centuries over deities and religions, and we are going to prove what is scientifically correct beyond a shadow of a doubt." You're an idiot, I sighed, and rose from the couch to leave. Irina followed me, but Micah beat us to the door. Bridget, wait! At least hear all of it before you walk away. Please. I narrowed my eyes at him and shook my head. I want no part in killing anyone, even you. I'd like to hear how it works. Holly, the philosophy major, coolly cut in from her spot on the couch. Actually, it's something I developed, Sean said. A cocktail of biological and non-biological chemicals. It's been tested, and it's safe. Tested? Irina asked in horror. On whom? On local wildlife. So never on a person, I said. Not yet, but it is safe, Sean said quickly. So then, how does it work? Irina asked. She took a step back toward the couch, and that's when I knew they had her. Micah gestured to Sean. I've developed a poison and a biologic. I call them the Romeo and Juliet serums. Juliet is a poison that kills the body. Romeo is a biologic, or antidote for lack of a better word, that revives it. Clinical death will only take place for 30 seconds. Micah cut in. No brain damage, no organ damage. Yes, it truly is perfectly safe. The body will only be dead for a short time, Sean confirmed. So flatliners? I glared at Micah. What? Sean asked. Flatliners. It's a movie. The characters kill themselves and bring themselves back. If I recall, it didn't work out too well for them in the film, but Micah knows that since he's obsessed with it. It's a Hollywood movie, Micah said dryly. This is legitimate science. No, you're Kiefer Sutherland, I pointed at him. He's Kevin Bacon, I pointed at Sean, and I'm Julia f***ing Roberts. No, Micah said hotly. Actually, she's Julia f***ing Roberts, he pointed to Holly. So am I Oliver Platt then? Asked Irina. No one is Oliver Platt, Micah yelled. Well, if we get to choose, I'd rather be Oliver Platt than Kevin Bacon. Sean interrupted. Sean, you're f***ing Kevin Bacon, Micah spat. And you're Kiefer Sutherland, I yelled at him. This isn't f***ing Flatliners. I sighed. So, I'm not going under? No. Micah looked exasperated. Then why am I here? Micah combed his hand through his dark brown hair. Jesus, I've been trying to get to that. Am I going under? No, just me, Sean, and Holly. And you think she's going to agree to that? Actually, Holly interrupted, rising from the couch, I already have. Why? Because I want to know. I need to know why I'm here, why any of us are here. I want to know what the soul is and where it goes. I want to hold the keys to human existence, love and suffering, life and death. I want to understand our purpose. And I'm getting paid, and it's perfect for my dissertation. That's another thing, Micah said quickly. Everyone will get paid. How much? Irina narrowed her eyes at him. $500 each. I groaned. $500 was pretty much how short I was on tuition for this semester, and Micah knew that. What an ass. The Romeo and Juliet serums are safe. They've been tried and tested, and they will work. Sean and I have rented a house on Emerald Street to conduct the experiment. All I need, all I'm asking, is for you to show up, Bridget. Just show up next Saturday. And what about me? Asked Irina. Irina, I need you to administer the serums and monitor vital signs. Look, guys, this whole thing will take less than a minute, and then you guys can walk away with your $500 and a credit on my thesis. And what makes your evidence, which is pretty much just your testimony, conclusive? I asked. The serums Sean developed will be available to anyone and everyone, and they can repeat my experiment at their leisure. But I don't think that... Please, Bridget, just show up on Saturday. There wasn't one facet of this little science experiment that didn't make me profoundly uncomfortable. But the way Micah looked at me, the tension in the room, the $500. I'm not asking, Bridget. I'm begging. Micah grabbed my hands and squeezed. I'll think about it.